Hello, dear students, and welcome for today's session on the subject of system programming. I am Mrs. Pragati Mahale, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology. We are studying Unit 2 of system programming. The title of the Unit 2 is Microprocessor. So, before we start with the today's contents, we would like to revise the previous lecture contents. In the earlier lecture, we saw what the definition of microprocessor, micro definition, and what do you mean by micro call. We also studied micro expansion. Today, we are going to study micro expansion with more detail with respect to conditional micro expansion. Then we are going to see the nested micro calls and definitions along with the advanced micro facilities. And last point is about the design of microprocessor. So we have seen what do you mean by macro and microprocessor. So macro is nothing but a small single code which is repeatedly used in the program, and whenever we want to replace that particular block of code again and again in a program, we it is convenient to write that particular code in a macro and simply make a call to the macro. So that is the macro that we have seen. We have seen there are two assembly directives required for macro definition. The first one is the macro, and the macro which defines the macro which we are going to use, followed by the macro name, and the macro ends with the end assembly directive. So this is one example of the macro. So here, using a macro assembly directive, we have defined a macro. It indicates the start of the definition. Then we have the macro name. This is the body of the macro, and the end of the definition is indicated by end. Macro call that we studied yesterday, macro call is nothing but it is used to make a call to the macro, as we use functions in C language, and we make a call to the function. Similarly, we can make a call to the macro using a macro call. Whenever we make a call, the call that location is replaced with the entire macro uh, instructions or the macro body, right? So this is how the micro expansion takes place. The macro call leads to the macro expansion. So suppose we have this particular macro definition in our program. Whenever we make a macro call by calling the macro with the macro name. So here we can see this is the macro with incr is the name of the macro. So I have made a call to the macro incr by passing the required arguments. So these are the actual arguments which are passed, and this is the dummy arguments, or the macro is defined with certain arguments. So what happens in micro expansion is this particular macro call is replaced with the body of the macro. Means all these three steps of move, add, and move is replaced wherever we make a macro call. So, suppose you want to do certain task in the program where these three steps are again and again required or repeated, like you want to move a data to some memory, add the contents, and then move the final result to some particular memory location. So, move, add, move are the three instructions which are repeated again and again. So, in that case, it is always convenient to define a macro and put those three steps in the macro, and whenever these three steps are required, you simply make a call. In that case, this macro will be replaced with this particular three instructions, and you need not write again and again these three instructions repeatedly in the code. So this is the use of the macro, and this is how the macro expansion takes place, right? So today we all have studied what is micro expansion, type of micro expansion. today our focus is on conditional micro expansion. So what is conditional micro expansion? So conditional micro expansion allows the conditional selection of the micro instruction that appears in the expansion of the macro call. Means what? As in C, we are using the condition like if else, means you give certain condition in the if, and if that condition is true, in that case the further instructions in the if block is executed. Similarly, in case of macro, we give certain condition, and based on the this condition, whether the condition is true or false, the macro expansion takes place. So to carry out micro expansion, we are using two kind of opcodes. So students, look here, AIF and AGO. What is this? These are the two conditional macro pseudo opcodes, right? So they help us to put down conditional micro expansions. Okay, so AIF means what? AF is a conditional branch pseudo opcode. What is this? It is a conditional branch pseudo opcode, and what is the function of this? It performs the arithmetic test. Okay, and based on the test, whether it is true or false, it would branch to the macro body depending upon if the condition is true. Right, friends? So it is similar to the if else statement that we normally use in C programming. Then we have AGO. Okay, this is the unconditional pseudo opcode, right? And it is like a go to statement that we use in our C program. So this is like equivalent to the go to statement that we use in our C program. So both of this AIF and AGO statements, they specify a label appearing in some other instructions within the macro definition. Okay, so they within the macro definition, you use this two statements, and you have labels to the statements where based on the condition the following instruction is executed. Okay, so these are the microprocessor directives, and they do not appear in the expanded source code. When you see the expanded source code, after applying this pseudo opcode, you won't see this particular things in the expanded level. What you will see is what instructions are executed based on if the condition is true. Okay, so let us see understand conditional macro expansion with the help of the example. So in this example, in the left hand side, as you can see, you have what? You have a macro. So this macro name is incr, and it has three arguments, as you can see here. So it has a three arguments. So and this is the body of the macro. Inside you can see there is a AIF. Okay, so this AIF indicates your micro condition opcode if condition, and this is the condition. So if as long as this condition is true, if this particular condition is true, what happens? You go to the final and then end. But if this condition is false, then only the next instruction is executed. Okay, so this is how the macro is executed with the condition, right? And then you can see here we are now, let us have a macro call. So here a macro is called, and to this macro this particular actual arguments are passed. So when I make a call to the this particular macro, this arguments, they map with this arguments which are defined in the macro. So one to one mapping is there. The first argument, that is, we can say this 3 is mapped with this particular data. 1 is mapped with argument 1, data 2 is mapped with argument 2, and data 3 is mapped with argument 3. Okay, so here in this expanded form, you can see here, mm, this expanded form, you can see that this particular loop here, this particular data 1, data 2, data 3 is replaced with argument 1, argument 2, and argument 3 respectively. Yeah, so this is how when you make a call, the actual arguments are replaced with this dummy argument. So wherever you find argument 1, in that place data 1 is going. Wherever you find a 2 comma argument 2, their data 2 will be replaced, and a 3 argument 3 data 3 will be replaced. This is how the macro expansion takes place. Okay. Uh, Now let us see the concept of nested macro or macro call within macro. So here, as you can see in this example, we you have a macro. Sure, you have a macro add one, and this is the instructions inside that macro, and it ends here. Then we have second macro add s. In this second macro, we have made a call to this macro which we have defined earlier, add 1. So macros are abbreviation of instruction sequence. Such abbreviations are also present with other macro definition. So macro, this is how the syntax, this example shows how we can define a macro within a macro. Now let us understand how this macro execution takes place with the example. So let us see, have a look on this source code where we have this macro add 1, and then we have the second macro add s with 3 arguments. Inside this add s macro, we are making call to this macro add 1, the earlier macro. So if you see the expanded code here, whenever you make a call to this add s macro, so here I made a call to this add s macro, passing this argument data 1, data 2, data 3. These arguments are going to map with this particular argument where in our actual macro definition. So now you can see that uh, argument 1 is replaced with data 1 in this expansion. Similarly, argument 2 replaced with data 2, and the argument 3 is replaced with data 3. So here we have just expanded at level 1. So this macro, because we have made a call to add s, and in add s we have this particular uh, call to another macro, but here in at level 1 we simply pass on this particular actual data to the dummy arguments. In the level 2, okay, in the level 2 expansion, now here you can see that add 1. Okay, so here now uh, actually call this particular macro 1, add 1 macro will be executed, and the expand data 1 is passed, replaces argument here in add 1, and wherever you see argument is mentioned, that is replaced with data 1. So as you can see, line 1 l 1 comma data 1 a 1 equal to f10 st1 comma, instead of this argument data 1 is being replaced. Similarly, this particular add 1 data to the expanded form of the code you can see here. Similarly, for data 3, this is the expanded form of argument. So this from this particular example, you get to understand how the nested macro is executed. So you have two level of expansions. Remember that this definition, so this is macro within macro, so this is the macro inside the macro and another macro. So the macro inside macro ends here, outside macro here ends here. There are two important points that you have to remember in case of nested macro is that macro definition, which itself is a sequence of instruction, can be abbreviated using macro. It is important to note that the inner macro is not defined until the outer macro is called. So first you need to make a call to outer macro, then only the inner macro is defined. So the user might call the above macro with the statement define macro add 1. When this call is executed, then the macro add one will be defined. So this is very important. So you have to make a call to the inner macro. Okay. uh, Inner macro is not defined until the outer macro is called. So this is the important point which you need to remember here. And then execution and expansion at the two level can be easily understood. So in this particular example, so you have this macro and another macros. Okay. So when this call is executed, then the macro add one will be defined. So after the above call, user can call add one macro in the following way. So see, first the outer macro add s was our outer macro that has to be called. Then add one gets defined, and then in the next expansion level, this particular add one macro is executed. So I hope now this nested macro concept is understood to you, dear friends, and also you have understood the conditional macro expansion. So with this, we understand mm, uh, uh, what is macro, what do you mean by macro call, and what are the different ways of macro expansion, different methods. And we all today have studied another method, that is conditional macro expansion. And the next concept that we learned today is the nested macro, that is calling one macro into another macro. So I hope that these concepts of macro are clear to you. We have many similarities with the C program macro definitions over here. And with that analogy, you can also learn and implement macro for assembly language. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. With I have completed this topic from my end. Thank you so much.